Okay, it's on. All right. I just watched a video. I can't think of the guy's name. Talking about men, boys, and how things are different now and all this. And I got a cow herd out here that's based off. It's patriarchal, not matriarchal. It's the patriarch, not the matriarch. No, I base my herd off of my bull. Most breeders, most ranchers, and cattle people base their system off the mother, off the cow. Nothing wrong with that. It's just a different approach. If my bull and this cow get together, it creates a bloodline. If it's not working out, I don't get rid of the bull. I get rid of the mother. Okay, I have a good bull. I've always had good bulls. So I base everything off of the cow complements the bull. If she doesn't, for whatever reason, it's a bad combo, she goes, I get another cow to complement the bull. Call that patriarchy. Anyhow, watch this video. This guy was talking about single mothers and women raising sons and how difficult it is. And we've always heard this, especially the past 20 years. Oh, yeah, single moms and, the boys are coming up different and whatever the case is. And I always knew there's truth to that. That's a real thing. But over the past few years, I could see that where I'm very thankful for what I had in my parents, for my folks. Not perfect people, but they always did the best they could. But I spent probably more time with my dad than most other people because of the kind of work that we do. We went to work. We worked with our parents. In other words, we didn't do daycare. When the kids got out of school, you went to work. That's where your parents were, and they took care of you there. So we were always around our parents. My dad would go somewhere, had some business thing to do, had to go. We were always fighting the city or county over something. I always had to go with them to those things. And every time we would, even driving down the street, my dad would point at some guy walking down the street that, man, that don't look right. He'd point out why that does not look right. See that guy over there? We don't do that. That ain't what we do. And this guy's probably this, or this, and we don't do none of that. Basically, I knew what was expected at all times. You do something like this, that embarrass your family. You do something like that, we're not going to help you with this. You do that, you do it on your own, kind of thing. So I had a constant. And my parents were fun. Because they were so young when they had us. It wasn't like boot camp or anything like that. But my dad was constantly. We'd go down, fight at City Hall or something. And after that, he explained every person we ran into there, who this was, what that guy was. This no good, dirty SOB, or this or that. This one here, you have to pay him to pay that guy, to pay the gal up there on the podium. And apparently we didn't pay enough, so that's why we didn't get it done our way. All this kind of stuff. And he really tell you the lay of the land and what was going on. What was it may not have been. It just, you kind of knew what to expect when you're out there walking around the world, as I had a pretty good idea because my dad told me. Okay, and I could see even to this day, there will be situations or something I see or something I'm told, and I almost as it happens, I have this filter that goes up that the information has to go through, and that filter is my dad. My dad. I explained to him not too long ago where I'm a lot like my mother, although I have all my dad's characteristics. But I'm really the way I process things, I process like my mom does, whereas my sister's like my dad. But my mom, I always say my mom made me, my dad built me. And we argue like cats and dogs all the time. But it's just amazing to me how important it was. If I did not have my dad around, dragging me around, you do this, you don't do that, this is what's expected. See that guy over there? Giving you examples. See that? This is what happens. Consequences, everything has consequences or whatever the case is. If I didn't have that, I'd be an entirely different person. And not that I'm great, but I don't think I'd be in as good a shape as I am now. I spoke a lot in the past about when someone's talking to you, you kind of know they're lying or holding something back or something's going on there. I get a lot of that from my dad. I have to thank him for that. But I can see now when someone says, gee, it's really sad. I'm not saying that single moms can't raise their children. That's an extremely difficult job. But there's components and things in that equation that they just can't provide. Just man stuff. And I could really appreciate the disadvantage that a young man has if he did not have his dad or someone taking on that role as he was coming up. Because it would take 80% of who I am right out the window. And have to figure more stuff out on your own. Or take on the female perspective of something and make that your filter. Which, you know, make sure mom could explain stuff to her daughter that we wouldn't even get, you know. Very important. But I can see now that the danger that it is, having a single mom having to do this all on her own. But not a day goes by where something will, I'll say, well, why am I thinking, why did I do that? And I know exactly where it came from. A filter that my dad created. My parents aren't perfect. They're great people. They're not perfect. We all make mistakes. But I can see now that, 20 years ago I said, yeah, it's important, but you're kind of your own man. You kind of, no. There are things I don't do that are part of my dad's filter because I have to make a conscientious effort. Nah, I ain't doing it that way. That doesn't fit. Okay, there's some, certain attitudes my dad had about certain things that, no, we're not going to do that. And a lot of it is nothing terrible. I'm a procrastinator, but my dad will, once my dad has a vision of something he's going to do, the hell with everything else. He's on that target and he goes. And I can't do, I have too many things I have to take care of every day. I can't go 110% in one direction when I have all this other stuff I got to deal with. But that's why he gets a lot of stuff done, at least until now. He's been ill for the most part. But anyway, when you hear people talk about, oh yeah, single moms raising sons, and people think you're knocking the moms. It's not that you're knocking the moms. It's just that they're missing, the young man is missing a second filter that he should be getting from that father. And that is a huge chunk of what makes that young man a man. And that's missing. And that's a terrible loss. And that's why I think things are the way they are today. You also have that God filter you got to deal with. If you don't have that, you're in trouble too. Anyhow, love you. God bless.